So I live in Arizona, and I don't know how it feels for the rest of you Arizona Cardinal fans, but for me, it feels like it's a make or break year for Kliff Kingsbury and his offense. Will it finally take that next leap? Will this college style offense he brought into the NFL that he's trying to tailor make and adjust to the NFL? Will it finally succeed? We saw it looked good for the first half of the 2020 season, and then it really faltered in the second half. Like, it's just not working. So, how will the Cardinals then fare this year? Will we see significant improvement? Well, we're going to talk about that. We're going to do a deep dive and breakdown of the Cardinals roster. I'm going to give you my projected starters, and on top of that, I'm going to give you my predictions on how the Cardinals will fare in the 2021 NFL season. What's crack-lacking? It's your boy Broshmo. Just in case you did not know, so go ahead, leave a thumbs up if you appreciate the content. I be pumping out videos daily, so indulge. And let me know what you think in the comment section below. A lot of you fans out there, you got your ears a bit more in tune to what's going on with. I don't know why I did the Q-tip here, but you know a little bit more of what's going on with your team. You follow them a little harder. Me, I'm trying to do this with all 32, so maybe I missed something, maybe I got something wrong. Just let me know in the comment section below, and I just love the discourse. So yeah, let's go ahead. Let's do the gosh darn diggity doggone thing. And look at the roster, starting with the offense. Kliff Kingsbury in this spread offense, he's been trying to adapt to the NFL. I mean, admittedly, Kingsbury last year, he ran less 4 wide receiver sets than he did in 2019. He actually incorporated some 2 tight end sets in there, but still, he was, in terms of deploying 4 wide receiver sets, he was still substantially higher than any other team. He was still doing it at a high rate. I don't expect that to change too much, but I think we will see, I think we might see bigger sets. So maybe he moves to the 1 to the 2 tight end sets, try to establish a play action, and maybe look for the freaking deep ball. Because your boy Kyler Murray, he has got a cannon for an arm. A cannon. Let him throw. I mean, he's got the Hail Murray on tape for you just last year. Let the man throw. Let him sling. I think that might be more the case this year, especially if they set up a lot of the play action. Get some of those bootlegs. Your boy's got some legs on him. Let him run a little bit. But I really do think that we'll see a lot more RPOs and screens, at least since they drafted Rondale Moore. You kind of assume that. And that's just kind of what he specializes in. Like, his average depth of target in college was like around the line of scrimmage. Sometimes it was like average depth of target at one point was negative some yards. He was getting the ball behind the line of scrimmage. That's just what he is. He makes plays after the catch. Now, I do expect the offense for the most part will still be like a horizontal passing game, but I really think they will take more of those deep shots. At least I assume that because they bring in AJ Green. The deep ball is kind of his game. They tried a bit of that with Andy Isabella last year. It just didn't really work out. So maybe they're a bit more successful with AJ Green. Obviously, they got D-Hop, one of the best wide receivers in the league. Christian Kirk's kind of been a meh pick, but he still figures to be there in the lineup with Rondale Moore. I expect those guys to have very similar snap counts. Keyshawn Johnson, he's still there. So, but speaking of the tight end, like I can see, like Max Williams was pretty solid in his role. Obviously, Dan Arnold was kind of a guy there too, but Max Williams is pretty solid at the tight end. He's a solid guy to have on the field. I think the interesting guy to bring into to the conversation here at tight end is Kerry Angeline. I believe he was an undrafted free agent at NC State. Just an interesting guy. I think that might end up making the roster. So I really think the running game, they're going to still stick with coming out of the shotgun set. I mean, Chase Edmonds was very successful with that. They have a very good offensive line. DJ Humphries really, after they gave him money, he's playing like he deserved it. I didn't think he really warranted coming into his contract year. Like, I was like, I mean, like, he's athletic, but he really hasn't shown much of anything to be worth that. I mean, he's playing like it. My bad. But Justin, how do you say it? Poe? Puh? But he's a solid journeyman they've had for a little bit. They bring in Rodney Hudson, which is kind of huge. Guys, one of the better centers around the league, easily a top 5 center in the league. It'll be interesting to see who wins the right guard position. My money's on Justin Murray just because they're very familiar with him, but Brian Winters is a very solid vet. Kelvin Beachum, he's been able to hold down the right tackle position. Like, I would love if my boy Josh Jones could get some love there, but hey, man, Beachum, if he's doing his part, then hey, you just got exceptional depth there in Josh Jones. If someone gets hurt or beat up, I think them bringing in Michael Menet or drafting Michael Menet is interesting, and I'm kind of curious how that affects Lamont Gaillard, who I think is a solid backup. But yeah, we'll see with that. The running game should be good. We will see James Conner at bits and pieces, but I think they're going to stick with what they know in Chase Edmonds. I think Benjamin's probably a solid running back 3 on this roster. But I think the offense will succeed much like they did last year. But if they don't switch things up, if Kingsbury thinks that what he was doing last year will be successful, it might be that way early on, but you're going to see this team falter down the stretch like they did a year ago. I really put a lot of blame on that to the offense. Like, defenses started stacking the box against this team because they weren't scared what they could do vertically because they just weren't taking those shots. They got a guy in AJ Green, if he could stay healthy, that can take advantage of that. So moving towards the defense under Vance Joseph. There we go. So Vance Joseph, we got a 3-4 defense, a very heavy man coverage. For the most part, Joseph, he likes to give a lot of those cover 1 looks. But I think he did a bit more than usual last year just because they lost Jalen Thompson early on. He got banged up. I think he only played like 5 games last year. So Budda Baker was playing a bit down, bit deep. But I mean, Budda Baker, man, he is very good, very, very good. He could really play anywhere on the field, but I prefer him around the box, around the line of scrimmage. That's really, I think, where he excels. And if Thompson stays healthy, then all the merrier. I don't know why they list him as the nickel corner though. That's interesting. But I think we will see. We'll see a little bit of cover 2, but they really love that cover 1 because Vance Joseph just loves him a good blitz. The thing with this squad is, can they be successful when blitzing? Can they get pressure while they're blitzing? I saw this interesting thing they were talking about in minicamp with Zaven Collins that he's been learning from J.J. Watt. So it's like, okay, he's learned to be a bit more of maybe an edge. So he's learned how to rush the passer. Then again, they like to blitz their guys. So that could also be, it could be understandable. But this defense wants to get pressure and get pressure fast. They blitz at a high rate, and just last year they weren't that successful at doing so. When blitzing, I think they ranked in like the low 20s in the NFL in terms of getting pressure on blitzes. So Collins, man, learning from J.J. Watt, man, maybe they utilize him a bit more, maybe on the edge, because he does have some pass rushing upside to him. The guy got some good weight. He was successful at rushing the passer in college, so maybe they utilize him a little bit in that. Because keep in mind, they got Jordan Hicks there, who's a good vet. He's a good vet, and then Isaiah Simmons being more of the coverage guy. So it'll be interesting. Collins also a couple weeks ago, he was arrested for, speeding and reckless driving. I don't know how that really will affect him early in the season or his role at all. Just something, I guess, to monitor, but we'll see about that. In terms of getting pressure, I think they went the right way. They got J.J. Watt. They knew it. They had to get more pressure from the interior. I think he's going to be used more in that role because they got Chandler Jones. They got Marcus Golden. Solid, dude. He's been a good journeyman for a lot of teams. He gets significant pressure. They still have Devin Kinyard, who was kind of banged up last year, I believe. Who's the other guy? Oh, yeah, here it is. Dennis Gardeck. Like, kind of out of nowhere, man. Like just kind of blew up. Like, what? I think here, I actually want to look this up. He only had, like, a handful of snaps, but ended up getting, like, 7 sacks, an insane amount of pressure. Yeah, I should have looked this up beforehand, man, because like it was pretty impressive. I think we're going to see an increased role from him. But, yeah, because he was sacking on the team in sacks. Yeah, so here it is. 7 sacks, 18 pressures on only 79 pass rushing snaps. The guy only had 94 snaps all season. Granted, he saw most of his snaps come towards the end of the year. But, yo, watch out for this cat. Like, they should get him more involved. I'm eager to see more of him, man. And they might. They very well might. Obviously, you got Chandler Jones there, too. I think we will see a healthy amount of Zach Allen and Jordan Phillips when they do come in those, like, base 3-4 sets. I guess you could put Phillips at the nose tackle, but I think they're going to opt for like Rashard Lawrence and Leaky Fotu to kind of play the nose. I think those two guys are going to they were very similar in snap count last year, so I think that'll stay the same unless one kind of emerges. You got Evan Weaver, more of a special teams guy. But yeah, this team's built to blitz, and the question, because when you're playing man coverage, you need to get pressure because nobody is covering a receiver for like 5 seconds. If you're not getting pressure on like 5-step drops, then you're kind of leaving your corners out to dry. So looking at the corner position, this was something I would say they made an effort to improve. Obviously, they parted ways with Patrick Peterson, so they needed to make moves. They brought in Malcolm Butler. I thought that was solid. Tay Gowan and Marco Wilson were very good gets, even if you're just hoping just one of them kind of emerges. I think it's interesting because I was talking to a Cardinals fan about this in my comment section. I forgot for which video, but he was talking about how Byron Murphy, they see him moving to the outside, which I would find interesting because then it's like, okay, who plays the slot? But like looking at the squad, there's a lot of guys that could end up playing the slot because it could be Robert Alford. I don't know. We'll see. They brought him back, but Marco Wilson, he played the slot for primarily the last couple of seasons. James Wiggins, a guy they drafted, I think out of Cincinnati, I think the slot is probably his ideal position in the NFL. They have Darquez Denard, who's one of the better slot guys in the league. So even a cat they brought in from Arizona, Lorenzo Burns, he's just got slot size. He probably doesn't make the team, but just someone to note there. So they got a lot of guys if they want to play, and they could always go back to putting Murphy in the slot. I'm really high on Tay Gowan. I really hope he works out. It was wild to watch him fall the way he did in the draft. They do have Deontay Thompson as more of a depth guy there on the at safety. I mean, ideally you're going to be going in there with Jalen Thompson and Budda Baker. But this defense has the makings to be a good squad. They just have to get pressure. They got the makings. I can't wait. Even Jace Whittaker there, another former U of A guy. So, like, the defense, it looks promising. The offense, they should excel. Honestly, this is my thing. Just incorporate more of the play action. Take more deep shots. That's all I really want to see. Let's go to my starters. Keep in mind when I do my starters, for the most part, it's not, base packages. It's who's literally going to lead the team in snaps. So you might be seeing like 6 defensive backs, maybe 1 linebacker, maybe like just 3 defensive linemen, stuff like that. Who's going to lead the team in snaps? I want to know who's going to be on the field the most. Tell me that. So, going to my projected starters on offense, Kyler Murray, obviously. And then we got Chase Edmonds. I think they're just going to go with what they know rather than who they brought in on a one-year deal, and James Conner. DeAndre Hopkins, AJ Green. I really think Rondale Moore, they're going to incorporate him a good deal in this offense, just knowing Kliff Kingsbury. Max Williams at tight end. Then I got Humphreys, Justin P. Rodney Hudson, Justin Murray. I think, again, in one of these cases, they got the vet as a good backup, but they're going to go with what they know. Because, he improved last year, too. Kelvin Beachum at right tackle. I can't wait the day to see Josh Jones actually get significant snaps. Not saying Beacham's bad. It's just, man, I was really high on Jones. And then for the defense, I'm not listing J.J. Watt as a edge player. I don't think that's where he plays. So looking at this, I got Chandler Jones. I got Marcus Golden, J.J. Watt, Zach Allen. You could also say this could be Jordan Phillips. And I think with Fotu and Lawrence basically splitting the zero tech, those guys won't be snap leaders. Xavier Collins, Isaiah Simmons, Malcolm Butler, Byron Murphy. I'm gonna go with that. He plays on the outside, and then I would go with Darqueze Denard. I'm butchering that first name. I know it, but he's now kind of a journeyman at this point, but he's reliable in the slot. He's a good slot guy. Then Jalen Thompson, Budda Baker. So for the most part, this looks like could be a good squad. The hang up I have is with Kingsbury and their strength of schedule. So let's go into the prediction. I have them going 7-10, and you might be like, that's a travesty. I don't disagree with you, but they have a very hard schedule. Like in my predictions, 12 teams of the 15 or of the 17 on their schedule have winning records. Their strength of schedule in my predictions is insane. It's going to be tough. They got to face the AFC South, which those guys are no pushovers. The tight ends, I think the Colts are going to be good. Are those the only two teams they face from the AFC South? I believe it is. I don't see. Oh, there it is. Okay, yeah, Jacksonville. Maybe Trevor Lawrence comes out and he has a banger rookie year. Probably not. That's why I got the Cardinals winning. And then, of course, yeah, you got the Texans. It's kind of an easy game. But then also you're playing in probably the toughest division in football, being the NFC West with the Seahawks. They're always competitive because of Russ. The new look LA Rams, or at least new look at quarterback with Matthew Stafford. And then the San Fran, if healthy, that team's a contender, a Super Bowl contender. So watch out. Then you got to go to the toughest conference in the AFC, being the AFC South, and face teams like the Browns. I believe they got you also got the Packers. If Aaron Rodgers there, obviously that's going to be a tougher squad. They got the Vikings. Like, this is a tough schedule. I think this is a very tough schedule. So having them 7-10 is, again, a lot of that also is I just don't believe in Kliff Kingsbury. Some of y'all might be a bit higher on him. I just don't think his offense is acclimated to the NFL. But maybe it does this year. We'll see. We shall see. Do they got the Bears? Yeah, they got to face the NFC North. I mean, I think Packers, Vikings, pretty tough teams. By week 13, you might be facing a Justin Fields too. I think that's what I kind of anticipated. But let me know what you think in the comment section below. And that's it for the video. Go ahead, do that YouTube thing. It's always much appreciated, much obliged. And as always, until next time, you be easy, my friends. Later.